Hi everyone. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and discuss something called significant figures. We're going to learn what they are and then also what the rules are for significant figures. Okay, so first you're probably wondering what are significant figures, which I often abbreviate as Sig Figs because it's a lot easier to say. So Sig Figs are digits which we use to describe the quality of a particular measurement. So basically, did you take the time to really get an accurate measurement? Or did you kind of estimate and kind of rush through things a little bit quicker? The more significant figures, the more time that the person took while getting that measurement, generally at least. And then the fewer sig figs, the more the person has a rough estimate or they kind of rushed while they were going ahead and getting that number. So if we compare the numbers 1001,000 versus 1000.00, the number 1000 without that decimal point indicates an accuracy only to the thousands place, meaning we have about 1000. It could be less, it could be more. We don't really know exactly. But that number 1000.00 means that someone took the time to make sure we have exactly 1000.0, and that last place is the one that we're a little bit unsure of. So they took a lot more time and care with that measurement. Therefore, there are more significant figures. Okay, so for the Sig Fig rules, the first rule is that non-zero numbers are always significant. So 1, 2, 3, all the way up through number 9, those are always significant values. So if I have the number 1,253, 1, 2, 5, and 3 are all non-zero numbers, so they are all significant. The next rule has to do with captive zeros. So these are zeros that are held between two non-zero numbers. So anytime we have a captive zero, they are also significant. So if we look at the number 10,001, the zeros are held captive by the ones at the end. So therefore, they are all significant digits. So we have 5 sig figs for that number. Okay, for the next one, leading zeros. These are zeros that come in the front of non-zero numbers. So I have 0.000023. They never count. So only the non-zero digits count in this case. So we have 2 sig figs for this number. And then the final category, that final rule, is a little more complex because it has to do with whether or not we have a decimal point. So trailing zeros, ones that come at the end, like a trail on a dress, only count if there is a decimal point. So the number 100 with no decimal points only has one significant figure because it's about 100. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less, we don't know. But the number 100.0 has 4 significant figures because we know someone took the time to get that more detailed measurement. Okay, so let's go ahead and work through some of the examples in your notes. So as we look at each of these numbers, the first thing we want to do is figure out what rules apply. So for the number 5.238, well, all of those digits are non-zero numbers. I don't have any zeros. So because that's the case for this number, all of those digits will count. So I'm going to have 4 sig figs for that number. Okay, so the next one, again, I want to figure out what rules apply. Well, the 5 and 1 are non-zero numbers, and then the 0 is in between them, so that's going to make it a captive zero. So non-zero numbers always count, and captive zeros always count. So all of these digits will count, and I'm going to have 3 sig figs. Okay, the next one, I have zeros out front, so those are leading zeros. I have non-zero numbers. I don't have any captive zeros because there's no zeros between those non-zero digits. And I don't have any zeros coming at the end, so I don't have any trailing zeros. So non-zero numbers always count. Leading zeros never count. So the 6 and the 5, that gives me 2 sig figs. So that's the answer for that one. Okay, my next number, I have non-zero numbers, and then I have trailing zeros. Now remember, trailing zeros are the tricky ones because I have to check whether or not there is a decimal point. In this case, 5.00 does have the decimal point, so all of those digits count. So I'm going to have 3 sig figs. Now the next number is very similar, 500. So I have non-zero numbers and trailing zeros again, but I do not have a decimal point. And because I don't have that decimal point, I only have one sig fig for this number. The zeros don't count, but the 5 does. Okay, so this last number is a little intimidating. So we have leading zeros coming in front. We have non-zero numbers. We have that captive zero between the 5 and the 3, and then we have trailing zeros. So all of the rules are going to count. Well, if we go down our list, non-zero numbers, the 5 and the 3, those are going to count. The captive zero is also going to count. Leading zeros, they never count. And then for the trailing zero, it will count if there is a decimal. Okay, so if I think about all of that, that means the 3 zeros at the front, those are all leading zeros, so I'm going to ignore those. But the 5030 at the end, all of those are significant. So this answer will have 4 sig figs. Okay, so I hope this helps. Practice is really going to help this idea kind of stick in your head, but if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.